again. No, sorry, Gibson goes again. Straight through cover. It might have legs to get to the boundary. The fielder's chasing, and that is 4. It just rests on the boundary rope because he tried to use his foot to keep it in. And that's a really expensive end to the over. 3 straight boundaries. Gibson moves on to 15. Lenton will be on strike to start the 6th over. He's on 18. The Thunder, none for 35 off 5. And, well, Jack, that was a really good way to end that over.
Yeah, well, both these batsmen not going to be lectured to by the spin bowling of this Bangladesh side, and took full advantage there. It was nice work by Gibson, using his feet on a couple of occasions to just go the aero route and find a couple of really nice boundaries. So they move along to none for 35 after 5 overs. So run rate is 7 here for the Sydney Thunder side, and the run rate required is down to 5.9. So looking a lot more comfortable than it was a couple of overs ago when that run rate had eked its way up to 7.5 and over. And but we're joined by our first guest of the evening, Sam Devlin from the Sydney Thunder. A good evening to you, Sam.
Good evening, Jack. Thank you so much for having me.
That's all right. Very happy to have guests up in the commentary box here as we see what the Sydney Thunder can do with this next over. Lenton on strike. And he's cut this really well through point, Lenton. That's 4 more. So 3 consecutive boundaries off 3 consecutive balls for the Sydney Thunder. And they're starting to make light work of this run chase. Lenton moves to 22. Now it's just 84 required to win. Sam, so understand that you do a fair bit of work with the Sydney Thunder in community. Do you want to tell some of the viewers and listeners, some of them might even be overseas, that might not know much about the Sydney Thunder, what kind of work the guys and the club as a whole have been doing in the community?
Yeah, so I actually work in game development for the Sydney Thunder. My region is central Greater Western Sydney, so I do a lot of work with Parramatta and the surrounding suburbs there. And a lot of what we do is just getting people involved in the game, whether that means they're going to be players or fans of the game. That's our main role. And there's 21 of us across New South Wales and plenty of us that are out there supporting the Thunder and getting them involved as much as we can.
And obviously having the Sydney Thunder as a platform to build with that, it probably gives you a different kind of audience to work with, where 15 years ago there was no such thing as 2020 cricket. Now there's a whole different market that you can kind of find with kids that grow up and see people like Jay Lenton hitting the ball over the rope a couple of times in a game. Yeah,
no, definitely. A lot of what we do, we see the kids relate a lot more to the Sydney Thunder as opposed to, say, the New South Wales Blues or Breakers. They see the green and that resembles with them, and they love that, and big hitting and with lots of wickets and all that sort of stuff they love.
That's exactly right, and there's been some big hitting so far in this game. The Sydney Thunder moving along swimmingly at the moment in the 6th over, none for 41 if you just joined us. Ryan Gibson is 16, Jay Lenton is on strike on 23. It was after Bangladesh kind of studded their way to 8 for 122 from its 20 overs. This ball is full and it's almost chopped back on the stumps. It's a big appeal for LBW, but looked like it might have been bat first there, which saved Lenton. That's a dot ball, and we haven't seen too many of those in this game so far. And with the Sydney Thunder, of course, starting up their season with the Sydney Bash against the Sydney Sixers next week, obviously there has to be a lot of excitement around the Greater Western Sydney area and all the Sydney fans that are going to be involved in the upcoming games.
Yeah, no, definitely. We see it day in, day out. Out in the West, people are very passionate and they love their cricket. So when we see kids and whatnot...
This one's been pulled in the air. It's going to split the 3 fielders out there, and he picks up a couple more, Lenton.
Yeah, and to have the derby straight up, that creates a lot of hype, and the Big Bash is just incredible at the moment.
Yeah, well, it seems to have gone on in leaps and bounds, whereas we've seen the IPL kind of wane in, I guess, the interest over the seasons that they've had. The Big Bash League seems to go from strength to strength already this year. Massive numbers of people signing up to be members, and I'm sure the TV ratings will be through the roof for definitely the men's big ball. This one's hooked over the top of the keeper for 4 more. So Jay Lenton throwing the bat at absolutely everything. He's picked up another boundary. Second for this over. Just going to see if this is awarded runs off the bat. He's gone down, Jay Lenton. I think it might have actually come off the shoulder. And the trainer's going to come to the field. So a little bit of concern for the Sydney Thunder batsman and occasional wicketkeeper. that, was leg bias. So it looks like it's come off the shoulder and arm of Jay Lenton, and he's just in a little bit of strife at the moment while he gets a little bit of medical attention from the Sydney Thunder staff. We'll continue to talk about the BBL. Is there much work to do with the WBBL? Of course, that's in its second season now, and has been huge ratings as well at the start of the season.
Yeah, no, definitely. Female cricket, we see a lot of work to be done in that space, and we see that the progress that it's made just from last year on its own. Seeing the girls and having their games played out west at places like Penrith and Blacktown. You draw the little local crowds, and the girls really like that. And you see the young girls when they come out and the girls come and sign their autographs and all that sort of thing. They see their idols out there at these local grounds, and they want to get involved, and it's a really good thing for female cricket and all that sort of stuff. Yeah,
well, it's got to be promising as well if you've for a lot of girls growing up now, and even kind of teenagers and women in their early 20s, that there is this platform that you can get into, like before where it was just kind of the Southern Stars is what everyone used to hear about, but now we have a whole competition that is for women that can play 2020 cricket, and gives them a real chance to not only earn money but get to play in front of like pretty decent sized crowds as well.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. So as a cricketer myself, when I was 10 and 11, there was nothing, and to see how far it's come just in about 10 years, it's incredible. And these days, if you're 10 or 11 and you want to have a career in cricket, it's possible, which is great.
You mentioned that you're a cricket player. I understand that you play with Bankstown. And how has that season gone for you and the girls so far?
Yeah, no, not too bad. We are actually the reigning champions, so there's a lot of pressure on us. In the 50-over competition, we are 3 from 4, which isn't too bad. And in the 2020, I think we've taken a couple of hiccups. I think we're 2 from 4. So we've got a bit of work to do, but we'll get there.
I do write a fair few of the women's grade reports, so I've been keeping up to date with a lot of the scores, and there's a lot of quality cricketers playing in the women's first grade competition. So we see the scene continue. This one just worked on the onside. They'll scamper through for a single here to throw, but he was comfortably home. There was Jay Lenton. Takes the score along. The prize scout goes for 25. And the Sydney Thunder lose their first wicket with a score at 48. And Bangladesh all of a sudden have got a glimmer of hope as the captain, Owen Morgan, walks to the wicket. That's the end of Lenton for 25. Nice full delivery, which has probably been the order of the day for the Bangladesh side. It was full and moving in, and Lenton went for that big booming drive down the ground. Didn't connect. Clipped the pads in after some deliberation. The umpire raises his finger, and finally the Tigers of Bangladesh get the breakthrough they so desperately wanted. And it's 1 for 48 in the 7th over. So still 74 runs required for the men in green, or the men in light green. Well, both these sides are in green this evening, as Owen Morgan is out in the middle, and there's probably no better player to walk in and kind of have as your number 3 at the former England international, Owen Morgan. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And cricket is a funny game, and if Bangladesh can take a couple more wickets here, the pressure will be right back on the Sydney Thunder. To see what they can do from here. Morgan will be on strike. This ball is short, and he tries to pull, and it's hit him right in the stomach. So some express pace from the Martin and Angus stand end here at Spotless Stadium. So a dot ball followed up after that wicket. So they're just starting to show a bit of fight here, the Bangladesh Cricket Board 11. Did struggle in the first couple of overs with a fair few runs being scored. Chowdhury to continue. This one's short, away from the body. Is fended away by Owen Morgan there. Score moving to 1 for 48. Still 1 ball remaining in the 7th over. This is full, just defending that to the offside by Owen Morgan. Ends a very, very good over for the Bangladesh cricket board 11. 7 overs gone. Score is now 1 for 48. Sydney Thunder are chasing 123 for victory, and the Bangladesh fans down in front of us at the commentary box starting to get a little more vocal now, having seen their side take the first wicket of the afternoon for them. And Sam, just maybe try and give the fans out there, both the Sydney Thunder or anyone that supports cricket. I know it probably changes every day for you, but what does a normal day look like for you and the rest of the Thunder stuff? Or what would be some of the things that would be on your daily routine?
Yeah, so like you said, it does change often, and at the moment a lot of what we do is out in the community doing things for the Sydney Thunder. Usually throughout the school term we head out to lots of schools and try and grow the game that way and get involved as much as we can throughout the school community. We're not doing it at school communities, we're implementing a couple of our entry-level programs. So T20 Blast is our main focus at the moment. It sort of resembles what the Big Bash is, and there's music and smaller boundaries, so lots of 4s and 6s and plenty of action, and the kids absolutely love it.
That's fantastic, really great to hear. It's really important for the growth of cricket that they continue to play at any level. So there's a new bowler, and it's Tajul Islam, and this ball has been cut through cover. They'll come back for 2 more, so Gibson's starting to see the ball a little bit like a beach ball at the moment. Moves along to 19 and brings up the 50 for the Sydney Thunder, coming off 43 deliveries, so they're doing very, very well at the moment. The required run rate is below 6, getting close to 5.5 and over. So we'll see what Tajul Islam can do. Left arm wrist spinner, that ball's much better than his first, angling into the stumps. The 24-year-old is Tajul Islam. And this ball is hit. He attempted to go down the ground there to Gibson. He thinks about a second but gets sent back as the man from the deep comes in and fields. And I'm going to say goodbye to Sam, who's been very gracious to join us up in the commentary box and tell us a little bit about all the community work and all the fantastic work that the Sydney Thunder is doing. So we thank her for her time.
Oh, thank you for having me, and hopefully we see Thunder victory here.
Well, it's looking pretty good at the moment for the home side. 1 for 51. Tajul Islam has bowled 2 balls so far. Sorry, 3 balls in this over. And this ball's worked onto the onside.
Stadiums in Australia, in fact, for fan enjoyment.
It's been very nice. My first appearance here at Spotless Stadium, and the rain has stayed away. And it's been a fantastic match so far, as Islam fields that ball out the deep. 153 after 8. So, yeah, Clifton here with you, along with Ryan Miller. We'll bring you through the next 12 overs here. Well, that's if the Sydney Thunder take 12 overs, because at the moment there's been some wonderful free-flowing hitting here, Ryan, as no doubt you would have seen during the hiatus that you had from the commentary box. Ryan Gibson's been getting in on the act, but also we saw Jay Lenton play a very exciting innings at 25. Probably a little bit disappointed to get out, but it was a glorious delivery to remove him.
A couple of big shots as well from Jay Lenton, but Ryan Gibson progressing along quite nicely. 1 for 53, the score coming up to the 10th over, slowly but surely. And in fact, we've got another special guest joining us very shortly. It's the general manager of the Sydney Thunder. Time to get nervous because we're employed by him, so let's not say anything too silly when the chair's around. And Nick Cummins, of course, he'll be joining us very shortly in the commentary box.
This ball is slammed all the way. It's going to go down to the fence for 4 at mid-wicket, but he's rocked back there. Did Ryan Gibson, I believe it was, and just hammered this through mid-wicket. Really good timing. Pretty good elevation as well, right in front of where that Bangladesh flag is that we mentioned before.
It was. I was right behind that, and I thought for a second it was going to go all the way and hit the very centre of that flag, which it for a second looked like it was on target for that. But look, a great shot there by Ryan Gibson. It means they only require now 66 runs off 71 balls, the Thunder, to get over the top of this Bangladesh cricket board 11. But look, that's a fantastic stroke by Gibson.
And I guess a lot of people, unless they're Sydney Thunder fans, probably haven't seen a whole lot of Ryan Gibson. This ball is bowled, and Gibson hits it straight to the man, and he's gone. Just as we gave him a few raps, he departs, he steps back and drives it straight to cover. Bangladesh get their second, and they're starting to get a bit of a roll on now, the Bangladesh Cricket Board 11. Nice delivery outside the off stump. And it was driven forcefully to the man at cover, who would never look like dropping it. And Ryan Gibson has to depart now for 21, so that both the openers have got starts, Ryan, but haven't been able to push on for the bigger score.
Well, look, not a bad shot. The only problem is that the fielder's right there. I mean, it's one of those things in cricket. You tell him to hit it to that fielder, and he probably wouldn't be able to do it. But the one time where he absolutely smokes it, he's hit it straight into the stomach of the fielder there at cover. He's on his way back to the sheds, and now we've got Jake Doran coming to the centre of the Spotless Stadium, and he'll be looking to put in a couple of big innings here. Had a couple of good innings in the Border Bash and also against Hong Kong. He's obviously been playing a fair bit of cricket with Tasmania, and he'll be looking to really get into the Thunder team this year and take over the mantle as the number one keeper. Jake, he scored 24 in one of the games against Hong Kong, then 21 against the Stars in Albury in that Border Bash, and has been in fantastic form with both bat and with gloves for Tasmania in the Sheffield Shield and also in the one-dayers that preceded that.
He's out in the middle. Defended back down the wicket by Doran, but they're certainly got themselves right back in the contest now, Bangladesh. Looking excited out in the field, and don't have too of a defensive field at the moment, just the three men outside the circle. Man at third man, a man at fine leg, and then a man at backward square. If the Bangladesh Cricket Board 11 can get another wicket here, it certainly makes for interesting viewing. Rubel. Really whizzing around. Rubel Hassan with that delivery. And we'll see what Rubel Hassan can do with this delivery. Love to get another breakthrough here. He's already got removed the dangerous Ryan Gibson in the last over. He made his way to 21, but then hit the ball straight to cover. And this one is pulled slightly to the side of the man at middle, and they get through for a single. So that takes Jake Doran off the mark. 58 for the loss of 2 wickets. Just one ball remaining in this ninth over, and see what the Thunder will try and do with this ball. Just probably trying to go rotate the strike, these two. Not do anything over adventurous, at least for a couple of overs.
Be interesting to see how Captain Morgan goes. Pardon the pun for those international viewers. It is, of course, a spice run that's pretty popular in Australia as well. He's been in fine form against Hong Kong. Scores of 30 and 42 in those two games in orange.
Just dropping this onto the offside. It squeezes out to third man. It's good urgency in the deep, keeps it to 1. And he will retain the strike for the next over. Owen Morgan, he moves to 2. And score moves along to 259 after 9 overs. Just 1 over away from the halfway mark here. Probably go as far as saying they were coasting on the Sydney Thunder, but they were going along quite nicely, and just a few hiccups in the last couple of overs, losing those 2 wickets of the openers, Jay Lenton and Ryan Gibson. They wouldn't want to lose either of these men out in the middle. Want to try and build a bit of a partnership, something that the Bangladesh Cricket Board 11 really struggled with throughout their 20 overs.
Well, look, it's also something that I guess for Jake Doran being out in the middle, he would be really looking to get into some good form. Also on Morgan, I said before, he had a couple of scores of 30 plus, but he would really, against a quality opposition like Bangladesh, looking to be getting a big total on the board. There's still another 64 runs to win, so maybe 30 each for each of them. Pretty good way to head into the first Big Bash League game of the Big Bash League 06 tournament, which of course kicks off next Tuesday here at Spotless Stadium for the Thunder against the crosstown rivals, the Sydney Sixers.
And that's going to be a cracking game, isn't it? Two sides that would love to start the season 1-0. Two sides that would definitely want to start the season 1-0. It's Tanvir is the new bowler. And he drives the sand to mid-off for a single. And just trying to rotate the strike as much as they can here, the Sydney Thunder. Without taking too many risks. 63 off 65. Crowd has got a little bit quiet. Quieter than it was a couple of overs ago when we saw that second wicket fall.
This is probably where they really need the crowd to get behind them as well.
There's a dot ball, and I'd love a few more of those. Tanvir following his right arm off spin at the moment. And dances down the track, lofts this, going down and then on the boundary, takes a wonderful catch. Great work, and Bangladesh get their third wicket of the day. He's lofted deep to mid-off.
Boy, do the crowd enjoy it.
They loved it. It was breaking decibels there. It was lofted in the air. Lofted out to the deep and taken marvellously just inside the rope. It's only about 2 or 3 metres away from stepping over it, but did well to get underneath it, take the catch and get the third wicket for Bangladesh. And Sydney Thunder are now down to 3 for 60 and lose their inspirational captain.
Yeah, big wicket there. They needed the captain, well, sorry, not the captain. They needed Jake Doran to stick around for a bit more. Morgan is still at the crease, and look, he's now in charge to get this going along with the experienced Aidan Blizzard.
There's no more experienced players than the 2 men in the middle at the moment. Just having a look at the replay here. Doran trying to clear the rope. Used his feet well to get down the wicket. It was lofted and taken just inside the rope. And that was some great fielding by Bangladesh. Good bowling by Tanvir there, giving it lots of flight. This one just defended out to the onside, so I guess the thing that a wicket does, Ryan, is really slowed in the run rate as well.
Certainly does. Also getting a bit of turn here, Tanvir. Looks likely to maybe another wicket. Looks on.
He's putting the ball in some marvellous areas at the moment. And he just throws this ball up around that middle leg stump line, just worked to mid-wicket for no run. This one just dancing down the track and moving straight back to Tanvir. It was a very good first over. 10 gone now. The Sydney Thunder are 3 for 60. That was some nice bowling, but I'm going to vacate the commentary box for a little bit as Nick Cummings comes in, the general manager of the Sydney Thunder, to talk all things Sydney Thunder as the Sydney Thunder try and keep themselves on track for what they need to and get the victory here. I'll be back in a little bit of time, Ryan. All over to you.
Thank you very much, Jack. And the score at the moment as we wait for Nick Cummins to just get his headset on and get sat in the seat alongside me. The score for the Sydney Thunder, 3 for 60 off the 10 overs, 63 required, and it's starting to get a little bit tight here. Nick, welcome along. What have you thought of the game so far?
Oh, it's been fantastic. It's been a fantastic atmosphere, a great turnout, the crowd, particularly by the local Bangladesh community. And yeah, it looks like we've got a go on our hands.
Nick, you've been on board as Thunder General Manager since, well, you started before the Big Bash League 03. How have you seen the progression of the club from that stage to being champions in Big Bash League 05?
Yeah, it's been a lot of work for a lot of people to take the club from a pretty interesting position that we found ourselves in. But not only that, the league itself has grown. So part of what Sydney Thunder's done is, I suppose, catch up to the rest of the league. But at the same time, the league has grown exponentially. So it's pretty exciting to see 6,000 or so people turn out to a practice match. It's certainly, we were getting 6,000 people to a BBL match in BBL 02.
It's very representative of the area that we're in Sydney, in Western Sydney, that we do have a large crowd in here, mainly from Bangladesh, as we see the bowler come in again, bowling around the wicket to Blizzard, and they've gone for a quick single, and they'll get through. The score 3 for 61 now. As I was saying, that we do have quite a large contingent of Bangladesh people living out here in Western Sydney. How have you found being able to expand into Western Sydney and get a lot of supporters from the area to embrace the club?
Yeah, well, we've got a very strong community program, which we spent a lot of time building a connection with the South Asian community in Western Sydney. So whether that be Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Afghanistan, we have an active and ongoing dialogue with fans from all those areas.
Fantastic bit of fielding there by Shivagatho. Just manages to save them getting any more runs.
Yeah, so part of that, it's a really a long-term strategy as well. We find that by having meaningful relationships with the community, we're able to build dialogue and hopefully start to see some of those faces at Thunder matches, and we really see that looking at the surnames just in our membership database.
This delivery just then by Shivagatho on the leg stump, and it was just played away by Morgan for a single through mid-wicket. Talking about being able to connect with the community, one of the big things that the Thunder has is the Thunder Bus and the Thunder Academies. Explain the processes behind them and the way that they get kids involved and kids starting to enjoy Big Bash League cricket. We'll just wait for this next delivery as the crowd is really starting to arc up here at Spotless Stadium, getting right behind the visitors. This one's on leg stump, it's flicked away again by Blizzard, and it'll just be another single. Well, in fact, they've turned back. So sorry, as I was saying, Nick, the Thunder Bus and those type of programs that the club runs.
Yeah, the Thunder Bus is a mobile vehicle that goes out to schools and clubs and community events, which was introduced.
The ball will come in again. It's flicked off the leg stump, and they'll just take a quick single here for the Thunder. The score out to 63 for the loss of 3 wickets.
Yeah, so it was introduced to have a direct conversation with our fans. So previously we'd spent quite a lot of money on radio advertising, but didn't feel that we were necessarily getting the message through. So instead we decided to go out in the community and have one-on-one conversations with our fans. So that's fans from our Sydney heartland. We're from Leichhardt to Penrith to Campbelltown to the Hillshire. But also we take it down to the border to Albury and Deniliquin, Orange, Canberra, Dubbo, Bathurst, and it really takes the taste of the Big Bash to the kids everywhere around New South Wales.
Give us an idea of what those trips were like out to regional New South Wales, Orange, and of course the Border Bash. What were the turnouts like?
Yeah, it was an extraordinary experience. Really, we had 3,500 people in Orange. And then nearly 10,000 people.
Oh, now that's big. That lure should drop just before the boundary. That's a 4. Well struck there by Aiden Blizzard, the man on strike, and he moves on to 6.
Yeah, nearly 10,000 people at the Border Bash against the Melbourne Stars. It's so exciting to see the people in the regional areas who don't get a lot of access to elite content, getting a chance to see their stars, their stars up in close and personal. So it's terrific, and it's really given us a taste to do it again next year.
We'll touch on the Women's Big Bash League very shortly because they're into their second season. We'll just wait for this next delivery from Tanvir. This one's outside the off stump, and it's just popped in the air, and it will just miss the 2 fielders who are trying to get around to catch that, and it'll just drop safely. Probably a life there, you'd have to say, of Aiden Blizzard.
Yeah, it's maybe worthwhile giving it a whack instead of poking around at it, but which is sort of Blizzard's style. But there's lots of time, and I think he's spending a bit of time getting himself in on this pitch.
Tanvir will come in again, bowling from the Royal Stand, and that's hit on the pads. It pitched outside leg and was never going to hit the stumps, but a massive appeal from the Bangladesh supporters and also from Tanvir, and not out the call. Nick, Women's Big Bash League, second season underway. Couple of good wins for the girls as well. Unfortunately, a game washed out today, but that's cricket. How's that side of cricket gone development-wise and bringing more girls into the game? Tanvir comes into bowl. Reverse sweep here by Morgan. That one will go away. They may be able to come back for 2. In fact, it's picking up speed down there, and it's going to go all the way for 4. What a shot there by Owen Morgan. And that's his first boundary of the innings. It'll move his score on to 8.
Yeah, I think, look, it was, next of all, as we see the replay here, fantastic. No, that was the Aiden Blizzard replay. Clearly pitched outside leg, I would have thought, Ryan.
Oh, definitely. Not even worth appealing for. Maybe in the lower leagues, I've given one of those out before when I've had to be in the middle, and I haven't been back in the middle since. We'll touch on the Women's Big Bash League again in a moment. Tanvir comes in, leg break outside the off stump, and it's just slashed away by Morgan for a single to the man out in the deep.
Yeah, we've been blown away by the response to the WBBL, and I think that could best be summarised by an experience we had at the last game where there were queues of boys lining up to get the autographs of their favourite female players. So they don't even see it as women's cricket; they just see it as cricket, which is a terrific development.
We're watching this people who are watching this at home are watching it on a live stream as Tanvir comes in to bowl, and that's just pulled away. It might split the fielders. They're not really deciding who's going to go get it, and they just stop it with their feet, and they'll manage to pick up a couple of runs there, the Thunder. Very interesting fielding effort out in the deep there. Questionable at best.
Unorthodox but effective, I think, is the best way you could describe that. Sort of classic West Indian fielding from the 1980s. You remember, Joel Garner stopping the ball with his feet. Yep, that's.
You don't want to step on it either. That's the other thing.
Maybe do a Glenn McGrath.
So the end of that over the Thunder now 3 for 75 off 12. Nick, you're talking about the Women's Big Bash League and the growth that we've seen in the women's game. How have you seen the competition from perhaps the rebranded netball, and then in Australia we have the Australian Football League is expanding in with their AFL women's competition. Have you felt as if there's maybe a bit of a coming under threat, or is this just so separate and there's such a different culture in cricket that it can sustain the development of bigger women's sporting competitions?
Oh, look, it's definitely, whether threat's the right word, I'm not sure, but it's definitely a response to the WBBL. There's no doubt about that. And really, the accelerator is being put on women's sport. That men's sport's been professional for a long time in Australia, probably since the mid-90s. It's been truly professional, and women's sport is catching up.
Start of the 8th over here. The ball's pitched on middle, and it's just played away by Owen Morgan. The bowling of Shubhashish. Nick, talking about the growth and the numbers that we've seen from the Women's Big Bash League, a big part has been streaming online. There's now more TV coverage, but the online streaming really seems to be having a big effect on who gets to see it and the reach that this competition has.